Aloha and welcome to the Embodied Healing Self podcast with your host, Jen Mons. Each week, join me for soul-inspired, conscious conversations around embodied healing and awakening to your soul's purpose. Thank you for listening in. Aloha, my soul family. Thank you for joining me again this week for another episode on the Embodied Healing Self. I have a special invitation to share with you this week. Many of you know that I love living in alignment with the moon cycles, and particularly the new moon cycle, which is a wonderful opportunity to set new intentions and create change and to alchemize what we want to call into our lives. And for the new moon in Scorpio, November 13th and 14th, I will be hosting my first virtual retreat. After canceling 2 retreats, one in Costa Rica and one at the Kashi Ashram this year, and also my live event, Illuminate, I surrendered to the idea of hosting a online virtual retreat. So I welcome you and invite you to this deep dive and discovery into shadow work. Together, we're going to explore wounding around the divine feminine and masculine. We're going to transmute our fears, our blocks, our limiting beliefs that are on the subconscious energetic level to our gifts, to our gold, our truth, our essence. We're going to do this through a 6-step activation, which is to awaken, align, attune, amplify, and alchemize. I have a wonderful group of guest teachers that will be a part of this retreat. We will experience everything from the shadows to the fear to the celebration together, so that by the end of the weekend, you will set yourself free and be liberated from anything that you feel is holding you back. It is our time to fully embody our own awakened healer and our own soul wisdom. And so for you listeners on the show, I invite you to join me for this Inner Radiance retreat. It's going to be experiential. There will be movement and partner shares and connection and learning and celebration and transmuting and peeling back the layers of subconscious beliefs and fears and looking right into the shadow and transmuting it into your gold, into your essence, into your greatest gift. So if you're ready and you're looking for that connection that has been such a vital part of everyone who is thriving right now, then we invite you to join your soul tribe at the Inner Radiance virtual retreat, November 13th and 14th. Check the link in the show notes or go to jenmons.com/Inner Radiance Workshop, and we'll see you then. Aloha and welcome back to the Embodied Healing Self. So for those of you that have been with me on the show for a while, you know that the foundation of this podcast is to teach you, to share with you the tools on how to awaken your own embodied healer, to take radical personal self-responsibility for your well-being, your relationships, your dreams, your goals, and every part of your life to become the author and creator of your own life story. And then there's the balance of that where we surrender into the flow of the experiences that we are met with. So I believe and know to be true that our soul has an agreement before we come to this lifetime, something to work on, to evolve in, that the soul's energy chooses to come here to evolve in a way where we continually evolve in every lifetime. We continue to raise our vibration. And the purpose of the soul choosing the body to be embodied in this life is to come back home to the frequency that we were born into, with a new awareness, with the agreement that we are here to heal and to choose. 2020 has been a crazy year. Every year, at the end of every year, I write a letter to myself and I review the year. And after I review the year, I continue writing about my hopes and dreams for the year to come, both personal, professional, spiritual. What's so interesting about this year, actually as in most years, but this year it's a little bit more obvious, is none of us ever expected really the depth of challenges that we were met with, or gifts with the pandemic, Black Lives Matter, all kinds of very challenging experiences and reflections of humanity. You may remember the episode Illuminating Shadows of Humanity, and everything that we've experienced this year and in our life this year, it's been amplified globally, is a reflection of our own inner belief system. So the healing of the planet, the collective, which we are really being asked to amplify right now, begins with our own inner work. So I'm just going to say that again. The healing of the planet begins with your willingness to participate through your own inner work. Whatever relationship it is that you are ready to heal in your life, you may recall my podcast on healing relationships, whether it's with loved ones, with money, career, purpose, friendships, God, your health and well-being, your body, your physical body. It all begins with you. The relationships in our life, the relationships to these things that we believe that we feel stuck in, these patterns, are just a reflection of our inner belief system. It just shows up in different ways for each of us. For some of us, we have an unhealthy relationship with a spouse or a partner. With others, it's with our parents, our children. With some of us, it's our physical body and our health and well-being, or maybe the food that we choose to nourish ourselves with. For some of us, we have a scarcity mindset. We need to heal our relationship with money, finances, our self-worth. For others, we have a deeply rooted pain around our belief system and our relationship to a divine source, to God, to universal consciousness, to whatever that is. Sometimes people even get uncomfortable just hearing the word God. Maybe relationship with spiritual trauma, religion versus spirituality, all of these things we've talked about on this podcast. It's all about healing the relationship with the pattern that keeps showing up. The people in your life, the beliefs that you have that there's not enough money, that no one can ever love you, that you're not worthy of somebody who can treat you well, that you're always overweight, that you're always unhealthy. These belief patterns are showing up because it's what you believe. And the people in your life are just there to reflect back to you what your belief is. And these beliefs are based on experiences that we've had. Traumatic experiences. Some very traumatic and some not traumatic, but maybe subconscious. We create survivor strategies. We create survivor strategies to overcome needs that weren't met at a very young age. So just think about that for a moment. Just think about what your greatest block, fear, unhealthy belief is, the most unhealthy relationship in your life, what your deepest core wound is. How it shows up in your life, who it shows up with. Common core wounds include rejection, abandonment, unworthiness, hopelessness. And underneath those core wounds are needs, basic human needs, the need to be loved, the need to be seen, the need to be safe, the need to be included, recognized, seen, and heard. right? We all have needs underneath these core wounds. And when we choose to work with this, think about the energy that's held in this block, this pattern that keeps repeating itself. I can't tell you how many times I witness somebody about to expand into something new, about to say yes to their healing, to a coach, to support, to mentorship, to anything, right? Yoga teacher training, functional medicine. I mean, I've been coaching in different modalities and integrative wellness since 2010. So I've witnessed many opportunities for transformation. And then just as you get ready to say yes, your ego comes back in and shows you that pattern. I've seen injury. I've seen illness. I've seen something in the house breaks and all of a sudden you've got to have money to fix something else rather than investing in yourself. I've seen the parenting one, the belief that you can't do your purpose or be you because you've got kids to take care of, right? Like these beliefs that show up. That was one of mine that I had to work through, and a couple of years ago broke through that one. We have many, many different layers, relationships with money, with parenting, our roles at work, our roles in our marriage, our roles as a parent. Think of all the different identities and roles you have and do a little check-in, like which one feels in alignment, which one feels good, which one doesn't. How does it feel? What is the feeling? What is the need underneath? Whatever relationship it is that you want to heal, whatever belief that keeps showing up over and over again, there's never enough time, there's never enough money, there's never enough love, I can't find the love of my life. I mean, I have witnessed every type of belief pretty much that I can think of be broken. Just in a year's time of working with people, I've seen it with people working with other coaches or teachers or mentors or groups through their church, finding some type of support or tribe. The willingness to be open to receive is the first step to transformation. And we all receive in different ways, right? We receive through visual, through hearing, through support, through experiencing. I'm an experiential learner. Discover what type of way do you learn? Do you receive? Do you embody? But all of these external things are just reflections of our internal belief system. Most of these which are subconscious. So subconscious meaning we're not consciously aware of the limiting beliefs that keep showing up. Even when we have a health crisis again, an injury again, something in the house breaks. And I'm not saying that this is the reason that this is happening every time, but if you're starting to notice patterns, notice the words that you say to yourself in your head when these things happen. Like, oh, when it rains, it pours. Oh, another loss. Oh, I don't have the money again. I don't have the time again. Nobody supports me. Notice the things that keep showing up, if they keep showing up. It might be an invitation to get really clear on what the wound is that wants to be healed, the limiting belief, the fear, the block. This is the shadow work. This is where we have the courage to go in and get super clear. It doesn't make anybody wrong. Get super clear on where the belief showed up, because when we take responsibility for our emotions and our needs, this is the important part I want you to hear. When we take radical personal self-responsibility for our emotions, our needs, and our beliefs, then we can change. We have to stop blaming, rejecting, avoiding. These are unhealthy patterns. Blame, rejection, avoidance. Right? Even trained life coaches and therapists and doctors still have these patterns because they've got their own things to work on. And I'm sharing that because it's difficult. It's hard to see what our own patterns are. This is where support is wonderful. Maybe you get support from your loved one, your spouse, your partner, or a really great friend. I'm super grateful for the good friends that I have that have the same language to communicate our emotions and our needs together. It's uncomfortable sometimes, but together we grow. For a husband who's able to listen and communicate how we feel, what we need, make requests, Some of you might be familiar with nonviolent communication in VC. It's a really great tool. There's 4 steps: listing the facts, stating how you feel, identifying the need, and then making a request, the 4 steps. A really wonderful tool. I'll drop the link in the show notes. In VC, something that I teach and use in the courses that I teach. It's really wonderful. Anytime there's an uncomfortable conversation that has to happen, this simple 4-step process, it just brings clarity. It eliminates emotional outbursts. So why do we want to do this inner work? Why would we do this? Because when we begin to heal, it doesn't mean that we're broken. It means that we're willing and open to receiving. It doesn't mean there's something to fix. It means that we're allowing, we're embodying the shift. You can think of healing as a shift. A lot of times the block for some people is the automatic belief that all of a sudden, well, if I have to heal, I must be broken. No, you're not broken. Nobody is. You're never broken. You might feel broken, but the very fact that you're here and you were created, you were unconditionally loved by God, by Source, just to begin with, just to be here. The idea that you think that you're broken or disconnected is the fall from grace. You were never disconnected. You were never broken. And it takes time and courage, sometimes support, to own that shift. Because the energy in the shift is what becomes your gift. It becomes your soul wisdom. It's what you embody. It's what you teach just by being you in your presence. It's your inner wisdom. So this is where we feel empowered. We don't become victim to our circumstances. We no longer have the belief that this is the way it is because my parents were this way or because of my circumstances. Yes, there are difficult, challenging things in the world, right? We're seeing that this year. All of the events that have happened this year, but we do get to choose. We get to choose what we do with it. We get to choose our experience. And 2020 has been the year of choices, the year of choosing. So I'm going to invite you just to consider for a moment, reflecting back. It's November of 2020. And just like dinner the night before creates success the next morning, I'm going to invite you to start preparing for 2021. Being present in your truth, reflecting what went well, what didn't go well this past year, reflecting back on your best day, your most difficult day, getting clear on maybe just one thing that you'd like to shift. Maybe it's a relationship, some type of relationship with career, purpose, money, health, well-being, loved ones, marriage, kids, your role at work, maybe yourself, how you see yourself. Maybe you're ready to confront those shadows. Confront the shadow and transmute it. Nobody can hurt you if you're willing to go there first. That's when I call triggers activations. When you're willing to be present with, acknowledge, and sit with, and be curious about the things that aren't feeling aligned for you, the things that feel like they're holding you back, the stuckness, the fear, the discomfort, the illness, the injury, the breakups, the rejection, the abandonment. When you can sit with that and be present with it from your healthy self, not your survivor self, not with your survivor strategies that probably served you well for the past 20, 30, 40, 50 years. You can refer to, I believe it's episode 42 with Britta Esky on core wounds, healing your core wounds. The perception that the hurt, the abandonment, the rejection, the scarcity was there creates the disconnect. Once you understand it, you cannot shift something that you do not know is there. But once you know it's there, then we can begin. Then the work can begin. And if you're listening to this podcast, you're someone who has the capacity for change. It is a small percent. The world needs you to be willing to do your inner work, your inner embodiment, your inner acceptance. Because those of us that have the courage to do it, we radiate that energy out, and people begin to heal by being in our presence. It's not for everybody. It takes a lot of courage. It takes a lot of strength. But if you're here listening, my guess is that you have been called and asked to shift, to transmute, to come home to your inner wisdom. So I want to invite you, come on over to Embodied Healing Empowered Living Community. We're looking for you. Come over and join our tribe of holistic well-being, energetic healing, collective consciousness, healers and coaches, sending you lots of love in this beautiful fall season, inviting you to welcome abundance and joy and freedom and well-being and vitality and energy, balanced in your life, joy, letting go of the hustle, welcoming in alignment. I'm holding that space for each and every one of you. I hope you have a wonderful day. Aloha. Hello, friends, and thank you so much for joining me today and being a part of this community. I know there are many other podcasts that you could be tuning into, and I am deeply honored that you chose to listen in and be present with me today. I love and cherish and appreciate you, and I want to invite you to join our tribe and Facebook group under jenmons.com/connect. I would also love to gift you your guide to discovering and overcoming the self-limiting beliefs standing in the way of you living in optimal health, more energy, fulfillment, and self-confidence to create an embodied, healthy, whole you. You can find this at jenmons.com/tribe. I also have one small request to help spread the love. In order for this podcast to show up in the feed of social media platforms of other like-minded people, we need reviews. So please head on over to jenmons.com/podcast to leave a review. You will also find other inspiring episodes on that page. So I personally read these reviews weekly and would love to give you a shout out and share your kind words with our listeners. You can find me on Instagram and Facebook as Jen Mons or The Holistic Coach with the W Holistic and Jen Mons, JenMons.com. Thank you so much and have an amazing day. Aloha.